Good evening and welcome to the VCU School of Social Work Scholarship Celebration. For those of you whom I have not yet met, my name is Mary Riddick and I'm the Director of Development for the school. In my role, I frequently meet with alumni and community partners to find meaningful ways to connect individuals and donors to the vision of the school, and including choosing us as their philanthropic priority. As much as I enjoy this part of my job, I have to admit that this scholarship event is probably my favorite event of the year because we get to celebrate future change makers who will realize the vision of the school through their work in the community. And for the first time ever, I'm pleased that we are able to host this event with a larger audience to include faculty, staff, advisors, mentors, alumni, donors, and most especially family members and friends of our students. If you'd like, please tell us who you are and where you're tuning in from in the chat feature. We welcome you this evening and recognize that much credit is due to those of you who surround our students with your support and walk with them on their educational journey. So without further ado, I'd like to get this celebration started. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Beth Angel, Dean of the School of Social Work.
Thank you, Mary. This is my third year to participate in this scholarship celebration, and each time it's a highlight because, as Mary mentioned, we're celebrating our most important constituents, our students. While we all may be dealing with Zoom fatigue, we never get tired of gathering in whatever format is possible to recognize and celebrate our students. The fact that we're here today honoring you is a testament to your resilience, your perseverance, and your commitment. It's not an easy time to be a student, to have to juggle school requirements, personal responsibilities, and work obligations, and to do so during a public health crisis with the added stressors of reckoning with social and racial injustice. But you, students, have continued to strive for and achieve excellence in your studies. And it's a necessary time to be a social work student because our profession needs you more than ever. We need you on the front lines to work with individuals, families, and communities, providing clinical care, working to ensure equality and inclusion for marginalized populations, taking care of our most vulnerable, such as children and older adults, and by advocating for changes to policies and systems that do not reflect social work values and ethics. These scholarships recognize not only your academic achievement, but also your promise as the next generation of social workers. The school believes in you, and our donors believe in you. As scholarship recipients, you are also role models for your classmates and for future students aspiring to be social workers. They want to be you next year or in the years to come. And while we have 36 recipients this year, we want to continue to grow that number each year, ultimately doubling the scholarships that we currently provide. As Dean, that is my primary fundraising goal. We recently announced a total of $3.2 million in donations and pledges to the school over the course of the 8-year Make It Real campaign, which was nearly $1 million more than our original goal. I want to thank our donors, alumni, and advocates for their support now and in the future as we continue the momentum. As we're thinking about our donors and supporters, I want to take just a moment to remember and to give thanks for Bob P. and Bob Schneider, two emeriti faculty and longtime advocates for the school. The Bobs, as they were known, passed away within 6 months of each other this year. Bob P. in March and Bob Schneider earlier this month. The Bobs were champions of macro social work, and they worked tirelessly to establish and fundraise for the Social Work Administration, Planning, and Policy Practice Scholarship, also known as SWAP, which this year is being awarded to 3 students. The Bobs are and will continue to be missed. We also want to acknowledge and thank our Scholarship Selection Committee for their hard work in reviewing applications and selecting this year's winners. Members of the committee are Dr. Frank Baskind, Dean Emeritus and Professor, Jillian Carpenter, Assistant Professor in Teaching, Cameron Carter, Interim Director of Field Education and Associate Professor in Teaching, Dr. Umberto Fabello, Associate Professor, Abby Kinnebrew, Associate Professor in Teaching, Sharon Johnson, Business Manager, Quinn Mathlin, Academic and Student Affairs Administrative Coordinator, Naomi Sutton Reddish, Child Welfare Stipend Coordinator, and Allison Riles, Associate Professor in Teaching. And now I'd like to introduce our brand new Associate Dean for Academic and Student Affairs, Dr. Rebecca Gomez. Dr. Gomez joined us in August from Our Lady of the Lake University in San Antonio, Texas, where she served as the PhD Program Director. Dr. Gomez.
Thank you, Dean Angel. As a new member of the VCU School Social Work community, I'm excited to join all of you tonight in celebrating these outstanding students. I want to recognize these students for their hard work and for their commitment to a profession dedicated to improving the lives of others and the communities in which they live. I want to also recognize the families, friends, and donors in the audience. These students are here because of the support and encouragement they have received from you. Families have made sacrifices so that their students could pursue their dreams. Thank you for that. Friends, you have been great cheerleaders and champions throughout the journey. Thank you as well. Donors, you have not just provided much needed financial support towards a student's educational goal. You have also provided encouragement, recognition, and the reminder to students that we believe in them and are behind them as they prepare to change the world. Thank you for your investment in a better world. Students, congratulations. Your work is impressive. Today we are happy to celebrate you. Thank you for all that you bring to the School of Social Work and to our profession. I now have the privilege to introduce Dr. Denise Burns, the Samuel S. Wurtzel Endowed Faculty Chair in Social Work, Professor, and Director of our PhD program.
I feel like I'm here. I realize this is a very special occasion for everyone who has joined us this evening. I've been on the faculty at VCU for almost 5 years, which seems impossible. It's been a quick 5 years, but a good solid 5 years. One of the things I've enjoyed most is working with the students and working with some of our alumni and the PhD program in particular. I'd like to call out and thank and recognize 3 groups of people, and I didn't know what Rebecca Gomez was going to say, so she has already done this, so I'm going to reiterate. I want to very much extend the warmest congratulations to all of the recipients of the scholarships. Sometimes it really can change the direction of a person's life. As someone who went through undergraduate, graduate, and PhD programs with all kinds of scholarships, I can say that, and I say this to the donors, that to all of you, that sometimes having a scholarship makes a difference, and sometimes it makes the difference. It gives you the possibility to do things that you otherwise would not have a chance to do with your life. So I want to really thank deeply those people who have contributed to these scholarships and make this possible for our students. And then, and this is my dog barking, I'm so sorry. And the last group of people that I really want to thank and I want to acknowledge is, as Rebecca said, are the family and friends of all of our students who are here. I realize not only, again, from a personal, but from a professional and experiential perspective, that there is no one recipient of a degree, that every degree comes from a collective effort of students and all those people who surround them and love them and support them and push them forward on their educational journey. So I want to give a special shout out, if I could, to 2 students, to Nicole George, who's going to join us shortly, who's one of our PhD students, and to Keith Watts, who also will be recognized, another of our stellar PhD students. And with that, I'm going to pass the baton to Dr. Melissa Stewart. And Melissa, I will let you take it from here.
Oh, great. Thank you, Denise. Good afternoon. It is so good to see all of you, and as we celebrate your good work. And I want to thank all the students, their families, the donors, alumni who could join us today. I also want to wish a hearty congratulations to all of the MSW scholarship recipients this year. Whether your award was for meritorious academic achievement or your work with a specific problem or population, please know that we are so proud of your success that has been even more difficult to achieve in the midst of a double pandemic. Always keep in mind that education is a powerful tool that can be used to transform the world. Unfortunately, we are at a time when there is a great deal of uncertainty. COVID-19, ongoing racial injustice, environmental injustice, increasing unemployment, poverty, and with those problems come increasing numbers of individuals, families, communities with people who are suffering. As an advanced practitioner, your work and your voice plays an instrumental role in improving people's lives. You should feel proud of your accomplishments as you continue to excel in your work towards making the world, the region, the state, and the community a better place. Once again, a hearty congratulations. And now I'm going to pass this off to Dr. Ananda Newmark, the director of the BSW program.
Thank you, Dr. Stewart, and good evening, everyone. I welcome our students, their families, scholarship donors, alumni, and friends of our School of Social Work. As I reflect on kind of what we're doing tonight, I remind myself that I'm quite lucky to be in the position that I'm in. And that is being able to be part of our students' journey in becoming social workers. In the short period of time that students are here, I have the opportunity to engage with students in the classroom, through our student organizations, in our program committees, and through their research efforts. However, one of my most favorite things to do in my position is to highlight and to help celebrate your successes. I'm thrilled to join you all today and to help celebrate our amazing BSW students and their scholarship awards. A heartfelt congratulations. Let me reintroduce to you Mary Riddick, our Director of Development. Mary?
Thank you, Dr. Gomez, Dr. Burnett, Dr. Stewart, and Dr. Newmark for your words of affirmation and encouragement. It's now my pleasure to introduce you to our alumni speaker this evening, Nicole George, MSW. She received her degree in May with a concentration in clinical social work. A recipient of 5 awards and scholarships during her time at VCU, Nicole certainly exemplifies the rich history of the School of Social Work and our commitment to yielding the change agents the profession of social work needs. It is my pleasure to now introduce you to Nicole George.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole George, and I'm a recent graduate of the VCU School of Social Work. I received my MSW with a clinical concentration this past May. Although I decided to do the clinical concentration route, I have always been fascinated with research and policy implementation. During my second year of my MSW program, I interned at Commonwealth Catholic Charities, where my interest with this population was sparked further. Because of my interest in working with refugee and immigrant youth, this placement allowed me the opportunity to closely engage with various individuals from this background. Similarly, I have formed connections with multiple community organizations throughout the Richmond area. I intend to make powerful, sustainable change at the intersections of mental health and trauma around the refugee and immigrant population. VCU allowed me to solidify my passion for research by the end of my second semester. Because of this, I applied to the PhD program at VCU School of Social Work and happily was accepted. I am currently in my first year. At this time, I have no solidified dissertation idea or research questions, but I have been very much interested in looking at mental health and trauma among the refugee and immigrant community, and how migration with a parent or caregiver have different influences on acculturation among unaccompanied and accompanied refugee minors. During my time at VCU, I took advantage of all the scholarship opportunities that were presented to students. Financial difficulties do occur, and not everyone has the resources to have their tuition covered or have someone financially supporting them. I worked 3 part-time jobs while doing my master's program full-time, along with my internship. The scholarship opportunity provided by VCU helped me with some of my expenses, such as books. I would encourage you to apply for a scholarship whenever you have the opportunity. Lastly, I would like to say a huge congratulations to all of you on your awards. You should all feel accomplished and know that you were chosen because of your excellence. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you so much for sharing your inspiring story, Nicole. We wish you all the best of luck with your studies. And now it is my pleasure to honor each of our 2020 scholarship recipients. This group of students is special. They come from many different backgrounds. We have students who are trained musicians, marine mammal and service dog trainers, and 911 emergency communications operators. These students have studied everything from anthropology to criminal justice. Some are first-generation college students, and some are parents. Here's who they are in their own words. Amber Adams, recipient of the Dr. Grace E. Harris Merit Scholarship. Amber intends to pursue in-state work in child welfare. Alice Augustin, Gay Chenal Jones Merit Scholarship and Social Work recipient. Alice wants to help people and particularly is interested in helping people with mental illness. Cedrica Alexander is recipient of the Pamela B. Nystrom Memorial Scholarship Fund. Her ultimate goal is to be a sort of a Renaissance woman, having many different skills and abilities, but also wants to pursue the traditional social work role of a therapist or case manager. Genesis Anderson, recipient of the Kimberly K. Giancaspro Scholarship, wants to help children cope with mental health problems, particularly those who have experienced adverse childhood experiences. Calvin Bartelli, recipient of the Dr. David P. Beverly Memorial Scholarship Fund, whose biggest goal is to start his own behavioral health agency and practice as an LCSW in an underserved area. Elizabeth Becker, recipient of the Joanne Curbs Caramanica Scholarship, who says, I believe my calling is on the micro level, working with individuals and building therapeutic relationships that help lead to healing. Megan Beckman, recipient of the Gay Chenal Jones Merit Scholarship in Social Work, plans to, after graduation, continue her education through the MSW program that VCU has to offer, and desires to work with, in the future, severely abused children, recovering addicts, and previously incarcerated people. Brianna Berry, recipient of the Ann Fisher Scholarship Fund in the School of Social Work. Brianna intends to become an outspoken advocate and clinician for military families, and perhaps in the future to continue research into evidence-based practices for this population. Jerika Brown, recipient of the Ann Fisher Scholarship Fund in the School of Social Work, who has a passion for helping families of children with disabilities. Grace Conklin, recipient of the Hurtado Family Endowed Scholarship, who is committed to ensuring that everyone has proper shelter and nourishment, and is passionate about addressing mental health stigma within the homeless community. Kaya Kraft, recipient of the Social Work Administration Planning and Policy Practice Scholarship Fund. Kaya sees herself making the biggest impact in the field by promoting equity in education and has an ultimate goal of earning a PhD and becoming a professor. Rebecca B. Davidson, recipient of the Judy M. Thomas Dr. T. BSW Scholarship. Rebecca prefers to see herself working with meso, macro, and exosystems with a critical, intersectional, and decolonized lens. Natalie Dunn, recipient of the Catherine McCardle Webb Merit Scholarship Fund, whose passion in social work is in crisis intervention. Her dream job would be working as an ER social worker or being a social worker in the police department. Angelica Galick, recipient of the Fostering Success Scholarship and the Ann Fisher Scholarship Fund in the School of Social Work. Her focus has been in child welfare, gender violence intervention, and community development and health, which she plans to continue in the future. Trinity Gillison, recipient of the Hatcher Merit Scholarship. who is hoping that with the degree can work within the adoption and foster care system, and particularly to contribute to making that system more just and a bit better. Monita Green, recipient of the Rita Schluter Memorial Scholarship in Social Work, who would like to be certified as a substance abuse counselor and to bridge the gap within communities by providing supportive networks. Chantel Hammonds, recipient of the Caesar and Ida Scleratis Fund, whose career goal is to eventually start a treatment center in Richmond that is affordable, inclusive, and focused on individualized care. Anna Harris, recipient of the Frank and Patricia Baskind Gift-Giving Scholarship for Students with Special Needs, who would like to work with teenagers and young adults who live with depression, anxiety, and/or eating disorders. Christina Houghton, recipient of the Virginia Council on Social Welfare Scholarship. Christina wants to specialize in children and family practice to help families with young kids who are struggling with poverty or kids with mental health struggles as a result of trauma. Kylie Hines, recipient of the Dr. David P. Beverly Memorial Scholarship Fund, who imagines working somewhere within the nonprofit sector to perform community outreach and influence local and state legislative policy change in the areas of reproductive justice, immigration, and housing. Oscar Kemp, recipient of the Frank and Patricia Baskind Gift-Giving Scholarship for Students with Special Needs, whose career goals include directing a public housing agency and serving in public health roles. Lindsay Latham, recipient of the Campbell Merit Scholarship in Social Work, who plans to work with children, and in particular children with disabilities and/or mental health issues, and to reform social policy in an effective manner. Jennifer Leftwich, recipient of the Rick and Brenda Faulkner Scholarship, who has always wanted to practice clinically with veterans and first responders while also advocating for community-level programs that bring social work and public safety together through interdisciplinary and co-responder programs. Lindsay Pugh, recipient of the Fostering Success Scholarship, who plans to work in a foster care worker role, but later sees herself making the biggest impact in social work as a change maker who disrupts the school to prison pipeline while working to reunify families. Roseanne Ross, William Randolph Hearst Endowed Scholarship for Social Workers in Aging recipient, whose career goal is to be a geriatric social worker. Audrey Sages, recipient of the Virginia Council on Social Welfare Scholarship, whose educational goal is to utilize degrees and passions for the mental health community by becoming either a school social worker or a medical social worker. Karen Satchel, recipient of the Martin S. Schwartz Scholarship, who hopes to work in the school system as a school social worker or in an acute rehabilitation center for children with severe injuries or disabilities. Elizabeth Cerny, recipient of the Social Work Administration, Planning, and Policy Practice Scholarship Fund, who wants to dedicate her career to food justice work and creating more and just equitable food systems. Ashley Staten, recipient of the William Randolph Hearst Endowed Scholarship for Social Workers in Aging and Rachel Wilkerson Memorial Scholarship. Raised by her elderly grandmother, she's always had an affinity for the older population and hopes to continue to serve as a resource working to disrupt ageism and racism for the older generation. Elise Strange, Joanne Kerb's Karamanaka Scholarship recipient, hopes to work with children and adolescents, being a part of the destigmatization of mental health and increasing mental health resources within schools. Devin Van Buskirk, recipient of the Thomas Carlton Memorial Fund, would love to work in a children's hospital or on a pediatric floor, particularly in the area of oncology and with patients receiving chemotherapy. Gabriela Vasquez, recipient of the Dr. Grace E. Harris Merit Scholarship, is interested in going into a career in international social work, believing that macro social work is where she could be of the most help. And last but not least, and just announced, the recipient of the Robin M. McKinney Dissertation Honor Fund Scholarship is Keith Watts. His research focuses on the mental health and well-being experiences of LGBTQ+ individuals, and his dissertation draws on theories of minority stress and intersectionality to explore the role of belongingness to identity-based communities in the coping mental health and well-being outcomes of Black LGBTQ+ individuals. Congratulations to all of our recipients. Before we close tonight's event, I want to reflect for a moment on the 36 people we gathered to celebrate. You saw their faces and heard their aspirations. Today, they are students and scholarship recipients. In the months and years to come, they will be social workers, and the impact of these 36 individuals will grow exponentially as they work with clients and communities, as they develop networks of colleagues, as they mentor the next generation of students to come, and as they become leaders in our profession. Those journeys won't always be easy, but you know you have it in you to tackle the challenges ahead. As Cedrica Alexander, the Pamela B. Nystrom Memorial Scholarship Fund recipient, said, "My goal is never to limit what I feel I am capable of." So in closing, I would behoove you to follow Cedrica's advice. Know your capabilities and know that they are limitless. Thank you again for joining us for our annual School of Social Work Scholarship Celebration, and have a great night.